Hi everyone. If you are curious to know where AI is heading in 2026 and upcoming years, then this session is for you now because in this sessions I'm going to present you being as an entrepreneur, being as a professional, being as a company owner, where the companies are going and what kind of services the client is expecting and the companies are providing these services towards the global market, then this lesson is for you now because in this session I am going to present you in the past 2021 till now what the shift change in terms of AI tools, techniques, and best practices. So previously, what was happened a decade in two hallways, the 2017 to 2021, all the organizations and the employees and the professionals they are developing the systems with the help of machine learning and deep learning, and they were using the computer vision, the natural language processing best practices, and most of the enterprises they are building the use cases with the help of these tools, techniques, and best practices. But now, if we are moving forward, the 2022 to till now the great shift is coming since the last more than 2 to 3 years now. And this is the era which is called as the generative era, where all the development, all the ecosystem converting towards the chat GPT, OpenAI, that brings the concept for the large language models mainstreams. And what exactly the multi-models, where you can create the text, images, and there are a lot of other stuffs you can develop right now these days, which I will be explaining you. And then the generative AI is basically becoming the default building blocks. And the most important thing that the frontier keeps moving forward the autonomy. So 2021 was only for creating the content with respect to deep learning, computer visioning, but now we would also like to see that the generative AI era is becoming more popular. And this is currently where we are standing right now, the 2026. So this is your generative area AI, where we are not only developing previously the chatbots, the multimodals apps on generating the LLMs, large language generic models. So that was previously done with the help of your machine learning, and all these stuff now. But now the another shift which will come, which is called as the rack, where you not only grounding the answers, you have a company data and you are expecting the chatbot should only answer the queries with respect to your own personal chatbot assistants instead of asking and getting the answers globally. You need to pivot your agent only restricted towards the PDF files, the Word files, and the instructions, and that chatbot will be providing the answers with respect to the RAG concepts. We will see what exactly the RAG is moving around these days and helping for creating the chatbot with respect to your company informations now. And then another concept which is trending these days as compared to the previously, MCP concept, the standard protocol, which will be helping for connecting the tools, third parties, applications with your large language models, and you can no need to move towards the other platforms if you are using the Cloud AI, if you are using the OpenAI, so you can still connect multiple applications like booking.com, Jira, project management tools, designing tools in a one platform instead of moving the other platforms and spending your time there. So the LLM models integrating all these third parties applications and providing you the solutions, and there are tons of use cases which will helping for creating the leads, especially in marketing campaigns or content generation, where you can get create the leads from the third parties tools and integrate with Claude as well. And then after moving towards the next era, now the agenting era is coming now. So the previously the image creation till the RAG generation, the documentation, vector databases, the third parties applications connectivities. Now the organizations are expecting in 2026 the agenting AI, which will be helping for creating the autonomous agents, automating the whole workflows. And these are the things which organizations are looking forward. And this is the main area of business which every organizations providing the tools and techniques and the services towards the global market, and the opportunities for the employment also increasing day by day, because this is the future of AI. This is the future of artificial intelligence. So instead of you need to invest your time in machine learning, the computer visioning, so this is the latest AI ecosystem which we exactly needs to know what will be the future of AI. And then the most important thing that we need to understand the AI for security, because the governance and the securing and evaluating the agents in the large scale, when we are talking about the productions in the real time environments, there should be the security layer. And this is one of the most important challenge I would like to explain to you in the upcoming slides. So each state basically does not replace the last, it builds on it. So by the 2026 the question shift from can we build it or can we deploy it safely. So when we can say that can we deploy it safely, so here your AI for security is one of the most important and trending topics, and the trending demand will be generating for the upcoming years as well. Now this is the time we need to understand that previously the first value wave in the 2021 was coming, that large language models were normally you can ask the questions and instantly in a natural language you are getting the output. Now like you can ask the questions in a past, like could you let me know what is the digital marketing, what is lead generation, and you got your answer. And the multi-modals extended for creating the images in a different formats, like you just described that I need this image in this format and you are getting your expected images. But now the trend is shifting towards the enterprise use cases, customer let's say facing previously the you have your e-commerce website and you develop the chatbots, you ask the questions and you get the answers now. So such kind of solutions were very common in past, in last 2 years back. And the companies they were basically embedding these assistants directly into your product and support workflows, and these things were basically executing last 2 years back now. But now the great shift is coming, and this is something moving towards the limitation which in the past years related towards the generic by the design, like LLM large language models, they cannot do the actions, they can only create the content, but they don't know your business, your documentations, your policies, your data. And that was the gap basically last 2 years back, was the main hurdle and the limitations for the LLM models in a AI. But now if we move forward in a stage 2, AI revolution is aggressively rapidly improving, and the teaching for the AI, you can now teach your business, and LLM large language model can only speak and get the answers with respect to your business. And that concept will call your retrieval augmented generating generations, and that grounds basically the model in your own database. And large language models they basically start analyzing your business and you are getting the answers specifically and accurately. And what you should needs to do now, being as a business owners now these days or as a professional, you need to understand that you can develop your own AI agents, your chatbots, where you just store your data in the form of numerical vectors, which is called as your vector databases. And these are the databases which will be uh, divide and conquer approach will be using for storing and retrieving your data. And whenever you will be searching any of the queries related towards your business, you want to know your HR policies of your company, so you must have experience that every websites whenever they have the internal knowledge based system they publish for their employees, instead of moving towards the employees for asking the directly questions to the HR team, now the AI agents can answer on the behalf of your physical HR. You just trained your agent providing the knowledge base, the PDF files to the agent. Agent learn all these things, and whenever any employees have any queries, and they ask the questions, when will be my promotion will come, what will be the loan policy, what will be the leave policy, how many leaves I can avail for a 1 year, in a 1 month, in a week, or whatever. So all these queries and answers you can get the accurate answers, and LLM cannot navigate towards the web. And that will be the stage 3 comes, where the large language models plus your prompt, you basically developing the context is a combined with your prompt, and you got the expected answers which you are looking forward. So here is the concept we'll call, which is the fine tuning versus RAG. Fine tuning is all about you can retrain the model on your data. So whatever the data you will be providing, your model should be trained and powerful by historical styles the path. And drag is basically customize any chatbot cheaply by the retrieving the context at any given query time, and which is why it's going to be trending these days. So everyone needs to learn the art of creating the agents with the concept for the retrieval augmented generation model is nowadays will be helping a lot for providing the solutions towards the massive customers. You should know exactly the vector databases, you should know exactly the pine code and the embeddings, the chunks. These concepts are extremely important to know, being as a business owners, being as a AI professional, or as a pre-sale a person or a business developer if you are. And then the most important thing, you also needs to understand the connectivity issues. Previously, in the past years, 2021, 2017 till 2022, the most important challenges which the companies were facing for connecting the third parties applications. And this is how these days the model context protocol is trending, because a common standard for connecting your AI to external tools and the systems, like the tools can be anything, like the wikis you want to connect with your Claude AI, or you want to connect with other tools for the Facebook, Google ads, uh, project management tools, Microsoft Excel's, PowerPoints, everything you can connect, and you can get the expected outcomes. And the companies basically they are saving their times and energies, and widely lots of customers are expecting exposing the product features to AI applications to MCP, model context protocol. And modern assistants like Claude added the skills connectivities which I already explained you in the past lessons, where you can add the skills, you can connect the third parties applications. Just like if I just come here, let me show you practically. So if I just come here in my Claude account, and I can go towards the new task, and when you click here this plus icon, so here is the option which is called as the connectors. And once you just click here the add connectors, so you can connect the multiple applications, the whatever you are looking forward, you can connect with LLM models, the Canva, the Notion, the Slack, HubSpot, Google Calendars you can connect now. These are the practical examples of your Cloud AI integrations, the MCP context protocol. So far, what we learned that how the model context protocol can help us for integrating the third parties applications, and you exactly know as a business owners that what the capabilities today, the era of agenting AI, the LLM models can do for saving our times and energy. And another important thing that these days in the field of AI trending a lot, like you can automating the whole workflow. In 2026 frontier, no answering one questions, but executing an entire multi-step process with humans providing the key decisions, like you can work as a instead of hiring the business analyst, product management and developer and testers, all these roles can be automating with the help of agenting AI mode. What is agenting AI? Agenting AI means that you can develop your own agents for business analysts, which job should only be for creating the user stories and writing the requirements once you will provide the context, and the agent will take care for these stuff. Another agent you can create the project management, which job should be just like a physical resource an employee is doing it in working in a office, for creating the and assigning the Jira stories and all these project management stuff now can be done with the help of project management agent. And in the similar way, the developers which will take previously, you are having a plan for hiring the developers whose job should be for creating the functions and scripts, and that will save your money now because the agents can do the development. In the past years, that was the missing factor. And this is the practical example of automating the whole workflow. The practical example of agenting AI. What is agents? What is agenting AI? Where you can create the multiple agents, and these multiple agents are basically your digital employees, where you specify the role, you specify the skill, you specify the developing the skills files for these different roles and specified the instructions in those skills files, and your all these roles will perform the task and ready the application for the project. And you also can create the agents for a tester, and the tester job should be for validating the project. So instead of hiring the testers, now that part will also be overcome with the help of our agenting AI. But the most important thing, that each role becomes a large language model driven agent. The AI draft the requirements, file the tickets, write the code, run the test, while human always be remain in the loop for approval, because AI is not a subject matter expert, not a domain expert. And your product, your program, your architecture, your sign off, all these things only knows by the human. So human in the loop will always be there. This does not mean that you don't have the employees. Might be previously if you hiring the 10 employees, but now that number can be reduced to 5, but you should have these roles in terms of human in the loop, where their job should be for ensuring that the expected outcomes which will be generating should meet the expected outcomes or not. Another important thing in the field of today, the AI field, you should understand the AI agents versus agenting applications. A single AI agent job should be for creating the output. Like the large language model paired the tools like browser, search APIs, third party services via MCP protocol, and the job should be to get an input. As you can see in this image, a one agent input is the output for the another agent, and the another agent input should be the output for the another agent. and multiple agents, how they are collaborating with each others. One output feeds the next one to complete a complex workflow, and this is called a multi-agent application. Just like I have presented the previous example, like you have your own digital agents like the business analyst, the project management, the developer, the testers, and these are all your on site, your own online agents where job should be to perform a task and creating a output, where the human in the loop job should be to ensure that the expected outcomes which will be generating by these agents will be creating the expected outcomes or not. And this is how AI agentic models will be helping for enhancing the productivity of your organizations, for improving the capacity and performance of your humans. And they this does not mean that the human can be eliminated. Human should always be in a loop for ensuring all these best practices and the expected outcomes. Yes, their productivity can be improved, and they also needs to empower to learn all these best practices. They also needs to learn, being as a business owner, being as a professional, everyone needs to know these concepts. And then most important thing, that it's really very easy to build the application these days, but real twist will come, which is the alarming factor that an AI agent which will be operating a, for example, a staging environment and ending up deleting the production database. Last month back, there was a news you must heard that AI agent deleted the production database. That was totally deleted, like clean. So what was the root cause? If you don't involve the human in the loop, and if you just providing the wrong instructions to the large language models, you always be in a trouble. So that's why you should have the human in the loop. And let me give you the practical example. Tools like personal assistants like OpenClaw, which have the capabilities for writing, reading, deleting anything on your desktop, just like the Claude has the feature to capture everything in your local laptop. But if you not wisely use these tools, not apply the property properly, the security checks, so these tools can be creating the disaster and can harm your productivity, and you can lose your data, and your security can be also be exposed. Someone can steal your desktop and your information and the sensitive information, so you should be very sensitive. And this is something like, I would like to give you the another example. For example, I can say to my Claude AI or any large language tool, like, could you please arrange my books in my room? And when I ask to the query to the agent to TD a messy desk of book, so what does this means? The LLM models, they get the expected instructions and set that cleanest result. They remove every book and leave an empty desk in front of my room. So that was not expecting. That was wrong. The main problem is not for the large language model. The main problem was my instructions which I provided to the large language model, because large language model understand that applied to a database, just like the clean the database. So make it clean. The LLM model predict that this means to delete everything. And this is what happened in the production database now. Now you should get the idea how much important the words, the choosing the context to express the prompt, and here the human in the loop will always become to ensure that the expected information which LLM will produce should be in control for your humans, and they should be always be remain in a loop to validate that the output which agents are producing should be the one which we are expecting, not the agent is expecting. Agent can do everything. It's you have the atom bomb in the form of agents. But how smartly you use, this is all about depending upon us now. And then the security part will come. Caging the agent, data governance is another important factor. In 2026, organizations will be highly targeting on the securities aspects. I will be sharing more information with respect to how securities are important in terms of AI field, in terms of today, just like the open claw example, which can uh, operate your local directories, get your access, read, write, and everything. So, what things you need to provide the securities, and when you need to provide the services for the can read, write, delete, and all these stuff, and approval is exist, and then the user should be only getting the expected interfaces whatever you apply the securities. And nvidia example is also be in front of you, that they wrap up the open claw for the safe enterprise deployment, not a competitor, and replaces the raw shell access with a permission based open shell. The only the permissions they provided, that interface should be exposed in front of them now. And building the AI governance security is one of the most trending concepts. The best practices will be coming in upcoming days, years. And AI securities has the four pillars: the guardrails, the evils, the human in the loop. And human in the loop is most important, and the constraints you need to apply. You understand what to expect to the LLM models, and the measure the agent quality, that the output which agents are producing, that should be the quality one, and that should be the safety one, and the framework. And then the LLM models gateway should be a resilient routing layers in front of multiple models operators. And then another important concepts you need to also understand, being as a business owners and professional, that how LLM gateways works and creating the resilience in the backend configurations. Suppose you have the three applications A, B, and C, and this is your LLM gateway. Which job should be that if your one LLM model will be not working, then might be down. So the gateway should be smart enough to move towards the other LLM model and select the one which you, so the end user should not be face any challenges, and your application will be remain live, remain getting the responses from the client side now. And that concepts you also needs to know. The apps never know which provider they are hitting, but if that fails, the gateway falls back to the next, and config change, not a rewrite. And switching the providers used to mean a rewriting an SDK integration from scratch. The gateway that will be take caring everything. So these concepts are also be trending, and being as a business owners, you should be communicating such things in front of your development team, and asking that what will be the contingency plan, what will be the how we can mitigate the risks if our LLM models will be down on our production apps. So, what are the five takeaways for 2026? The frontier of is autonomy, like value has moved from models that answers to agents that act plan for the workflows, not just chatbot that was the history previously. Everyone is learning the agents now, and building the agent is very cheap and deploy is very hard. Standing up an agent is easy, but when we are talking about for deploying in a secure environment, just like I have presented you the example, the proper instructions, the proper governance and control not be handled properly, that can be creating the disaster on the production. We can lose the data, we can get the penalties from the customers if we not properly engaged human in the loop. And then the governance is the feature. Guardrail and the evals, human in the loop. These things are not the options. These are the advanced. They are the prerequisite for your production app. And then the number four, stay provider agnostic. The large language models gateway always gives you the resilience, fallback, switching the cost control, the as the model market churns. And then the number five, invest in the right skills. The roadmap runs the data science to generative AI now. All the previously everyone was targeting the data science, but now these days generative AI moving towards the agentic AI. Generative AI means that creating the content, creating the images, text, videos, structure, unstructured data, and agentic AI is performing the actions whatever the LLM models producing, and also helping to perform the task in the form of workflow, and with the securities as the differentiating the layers now. So I hope that now, being as a professional business owners and as a professionals, you got the idea that these five best practices everyone needs to know for the world of artificial intelligence.